Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take. I'm Glazer of the Snap Judgment Podcast. And before we go any further, like and sub for the best Marvel Snap Takes every weekday. Let's begin with the mea culpa. I thought the buffs for cards would begin yesterday. They did not. It turns out that they're coming after Tuesday's patch next Thursday. But that doesn't change what we're doing for the giveaway. All you have to do in order to be entered into a chance to win the Hitmonkey Season Pass is reply with the card you most want buffed. I suggested 12 different cards yesterday that I'd like to see buffed in this update. Please give that video a look. In addition, we're SnapFan's official podcast, Snap Judgments, and part of that is we're helping to make their monthly tier list on the podcast. Check out our latest episode in order to see SnapFan's tier list and learn where all the major decks rank. All right, today, Second Dinner announced which cards are going Series 5 to Series 4 and Series 4 to Series 3. You can see that on your screen. What we're going to do today is we're going to review each of these cards. I'm going to suggest when and how likely you should be to look into these and where you want them. Now, first of all, this is hugely important. Very few people are saying this. But if you're early in Pool 3, it might actually be easier for you to pick the Series 4 card you want as opposed to the Series 3 card you want. You're only going to be able to buy one Series 3 a month, and yes, it is free. But A, you have to wait for it to show up in the shop, and B, the amount of time, depending on how many cards you have in that shop, with only one appearing every 8 hours and how often you check, could be quite extreme. You also could have already used this month's free Series 3 pickup, which means you're stuck waiting at least another month. If you don't want to wait for that, you might be better off locking and buying that right away. All good? Great. All right, the first card moving from Series 4 to Series 3 is our good friend Shuri. Shuri is a 4-2 with the text, on reveal, double the power of the next card played. Shuri has been the meta killer for ages. I can't suggest you buy Shuri before the drop or right after the drop because we know for a fact Second Dinner has announced that she's going to be nerfed. We don't know what that nerf is. We don't know if it's going to be a leader nerf, which completely destroys the card, a Silver Surfer nerf, which alters the play patterns and makes it significantly weaker, or a Zabu or Darkhawk nerf, which keeps it in meta decks and is at the top. For now, I strongly urge you to hold off on grabbing Shuri. She's right now arguably the best card in the game, and if you check my series on the top 10 cards in Snap, she was at that point number 2. Still, now's not the time to grab Shuri. Next up, we have Black Panther, who was the season pass card of the Wakanda season, so many of us already have him. He is a 5/4, when revealed, double his power. Fundamentally, what he works with are, right now, Shuri, and Wong with Arnim Zola or Wong with Taskmaster. There's a possibility that he becomes a larger part of the meta should Shuri and Red Skull be removed, be nerfed out of it, because he would then be one of the better ways to get big power. Still, if you didn't buy him for $9, a season pass card is worth way more money than that in terms of how much you spend on tokens or in terms of time. So I don't especially suggest you buy him. It's entirely possible he becomes meta very quickly once he's in Pool 3. A lot of Cosmo is not everywhere right now, and Cosmo is the main card that stops him. It's possible, well, Arrow would also be amazingly frustrating to a Zola that tried to go on top of a Panther. All of that is to say, however, that if he becomes meta, Cosmo is an early pool card and just returns to the meta and basically stops all of the trouble, all of the shenanigans. All you need is to make sure that, sorry, my cat just knocked some stuff over. All you need is Cosmo to stop Black Panther, and given that that's the case, don't stress buying him right away. Next up, we have Bast. Bast is a 1/1 with the on reveal. Give all cards in your hand 3 power. As in, they all become 3 power, not they all gain 3 power. This card is awesome for a ton of decks. First and foremost, if you're really enjoying those Beast Falcon bounce decks or you're enjoying Hit Monkey with bounce decks, Bast is one of the very best cards for those decks. If you have Darkhawk, Bast works amazingly with Darkhawk. If you like Thanos, there's various Thanos builds that really like Bast. If you like playing bigger stuff with Luke Cage, Bast will improve the strength of some of your cards, and then Luke Cage will put the ones that are negatively affected back up to their full power. Bast is an extremely powerful card right now. He's an absolute staple if you like Mr. Negative, if you like Bounce, if you like Sarah, if you like Hit Monkey. Basically, if you're playing any of those cards, Bast is an absolute priority. I think of all these cards that we're going to talk about today, Bast is the single most important one for the most decks. Next up, we have Valkyrie. Valkyrie is a 5/3 with the on reveal. When she is played, set all cards at her location to 3 power. There's various ways to abuse this with cards like Ant-Man or the Soul Stone, which means that if you both have the equal number of cards, you end up winning the lane. Valkyrie has 2 homes. One of them is also a Bast home that I forgot to say. Valkyrie's 2 homes are Thanos, like Bast, and Patriot, like Bast. Patriot provides static buffs, which means that Valkyrie will often just win the lane outright, while Thanos has a bunch of little stones that really benefit from the plus in power, and Soul Stone in a full location, unless the opponent also has an ongoing, is a win, even if you only have 3 cards there and they have 4. They get 2 times 4, that's 8. You get 3 times 3, and that's 9, and you would win that location. So that's super important. If you like those decks, Valkyrie is literally my favorite of these cards by an awful lot. I love Valkyrie. I think she's excellent, but Thanos is a pool 5 card, series 5 card. I feel like if you have that card, then Valkyrie is worth grabbing. If you don't have her, she's not really needed for Patriot. There's plenty of tier 1 Patriot builds that there's plenty of tier 1 Patriot builds that run sorry, my cat is now going literally completely insane. There's plenty of tier 1 Patriot builds that run stuff like Ultron and other cards and don't rely on Valkyrie to win games. So she's very good in certain Patriot builds, but really where she's most at home is various Thanos decks. The next and last card moving from pool 4 to pool 3 is Super Skrull. Super Skrull is a 4/2 with the ongoing that he gets the ongoing of every enemy card. So, if you really hate Galactus, it's a very good idea to get Super Skrull. When they Galactus annul, Super Skrull alone equals that power. In addition, if you're facing a lot of Darkhawk and Devil Dino in your meta, he gets all of that power as well. He's a very, very, very strong card. He's often considered bad because there's games where he does nothing. You don't want to play him into an Electro and not be able to play any cards, for example. You do, however, really want to be playing him into on turn 4 into these Sarah decks that are everywhere right now. When he grabs Sarah and Zabu and makes your whole board cheaper, except your whole board is a lot more powerful than most Sarah decks, it's a really, really powerful play. Super Skrull is a big sleeper, and he's a really, really great way to steal a bunch of extra power. We're on to the cards that are moving from pool 5 to pool 4. The first of these is MODOK. MODOK is a season pass card from the Ant-Man season. He is 5/8 on reveal, discard your hand. If you like discard, he's probably the single best discard card in pool 3. It's him or Dracula, right? Sorry, he's pool 4, but he's an absolute staple, absolute necessity for these decks. These decks, if Shuri is nerfed enough, become some of the best in the meta, and they are worth playing. That is the only deck he even sort of goes in. If you like discard, if you like Hela, there's a possibility this becomes meta, which would make MODOK worth it. Stature is a 5/7. That's the only one of all of these cards we're talking about today that I don't have. Stature as a 5/7 is if any card has been discarded from your opponent's hand this game, she becomes a 1/7. That's stellar. Want to play here with either Black Bolt, well, with both Black Bolt and Moon Knight. Both are pull 3 cards. If you have them, from everything I've gathered, she's extremely powerful in several shells, both Shuri and Thanos shells. Friend of the show, Explodium, at Explodium Gaming on Twitch, if you want to check him out, hit Infinite with a Stature Thanos deck, which was amazingly powerful. Stature is probably a card I'm going to buy. I'm saving. I've got the tokens, I've got Kitty, and I would really like Stature. So I'm very likely to grab Stature very soon. The last card is my most anticipated card ever in the game. It is Ghost. Ghost is a 1/2. Ghost's ongoing ability is that you always go second. That seems fine, right? It seems like it's going to be powerful in your control decks and so on. Turns out it's really not. There's too many times when priority is either meaningless or you need to be able to switch back and forth based on what's happening on the board. Ghost making it static and being known makes that too easy for your opponent to plan. Ghost needs either a stat boost or a cost, a number boost on the second number or first number, right? If Ghost were a 0 or a 2/4 or something like that, she'd be playable. If Ghost were a 1/3, we could start to look at her again. But for now, despite Ghost being the coolest card, she's probably not worth grabbing. All right, that's the end of today's Snap Take. Thanks for watching all week, and I'll see you Monday for another Snap Take. Remember, enter the contest by just saying the card you'd most like buffed. Have a great day.